Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.
Next question I will ask, I'll start with Naila. The biggest influences that got you into that, that helped you become the player you are?
I think probably my mum and my sister. My older sister played basketball, so we had like at our old house like a little mini basketball court outside. So we would just go against each other outside, and first one to come in crying was the loser. And then I think in terms of coaches, probably Ian Day and Vanessa, obviously, who coaches us now, are two of the biggest influencers. So yeah, mum, sister, Ian and Vanessa probably.
Were there any other famous players you kind of looked up to as well? Any famous women players or basketball or men players?
No, not really. I mean, there was like older players in the league and things like that when I started playing that I looked up to, but I didn't really. I think when I was like playing, like we couldn't really watch the WNBA and things like that on TV. It wasn't as accessible as it is now. So I didn't really used to watch a lot of that. Like I knew about some of the players and like some of the older players like Andrea Congreves played in the WNBA. And when they came home and played for England and things like that, but you couldn't watch it on TV like you can now.
Okay. What about let's go to Nicolette.
Probably for me, my first coach, Sergio, he used to coach at Mystics. He helped me really love the game. He always had extra time for me. Even to this day, he still messages me, sees how I'm doing. So probably him, definitely my first one. And then my second one would be Rahana. I don't even know her surname. Rian. I don't know if you remember her surname.
I think it's Khalil. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at the gym shooting after school, she's probably one of the only people that came up to me to correct what I was doing when I was younger. Coming to watch some of the games, and then I watched her as she played on the senior team, and she was always supportive. And then I was fortunate to get to play with her at Leeds and live with her, which was hilarious, as Rian knows. But they're probably the two people. When I started playing basketball, I watched Kobe Bryant a lot. Tried a lot of things that he did that I cannot. But he was exciting to watch, and he also added to the love of the game that I have as well. Yeah.
Who else is gonna volunteer? Say Siobhan.
Yeah, I'd say like obviously like mum and dad, because they have really just been there like throughout everything. And I'd say like the person, it's interesting because I've had like the least amount of time with them, but has made the biggest impact on just me enjoying basketball is probably Chema. So I was with like the GB team for like a couple of years with Chema, and I think he really just changed my mindset on like my mindset's still a little bit like this, but like before was like, if I'm going to be competitive, I can't like you, no matter you're my teammate in practice, no matter you're my person opposite me. And that was how I motivated myself to play against people. And then I think just being part of that like team, and also like under him, but I think it's definitely a lot to do with the girls that were on the team as well. I think that just really just helped change my mindset. So I just enjoyed like competing, but in a different way. So I'd say like now for me, it's like just a journey of trying to figure out how to stay super competitive, but in the way that he sort of, I can't even explain it, Nick. It's hard to explain how he is, but like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he makes you believe that he believes in what you do. And that each of you should believe in each other and trust each other. I think he just brings that family ethos, and and if you don't fit in with that, it's very obvious. So I think it's like that. It's everyone trusting each other, even if it's from you play 40 minutes to you don't play at all. Everyone's happy for each other and everyone wants the best.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And I think like for me that was the first time I'd had like a whole team that just like bought into that. But obviously he's only going to have people there that want to buy into it. So yeah, he's been like a real big influence like later in my career. And then I guess I always looked up to Diana Taurasi. I remember like this one time one of my coaches came home from the States with Sports Illustrated, and she was on the front. She was like a freshman going into UConn. And up to then, I'd always just like wore a ponytail. Obviously, she has this like slick back hair with a bun. And I was like 16. I like changed all my hair, and I thought it was gonna make me like play like her. I used to like slick it back. Yeah, and she was like my idol.
I want to see some pictures of that.
I want to see that. You slick the hair back. What about, let's go, Miss the Tatiani Clark.
Todd, just say T, because you're struggling over there.
You know that is what I'm calling you or next season.
Oh my God. First of all, let me just put this out here since we're being recorded. Just say T, because the way English people have butchered my name, my mom's upset. She's really upset, okay? So we just gonna say T because it's been...
Okay, T, yeah, T. I remember that, T. Not Cornell.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a new name too, actually. Nick knows about Cornell, don't you, Nick?
I sure do. But I don't want to, and I can just kidding, not joke.
I'll probably say my mom was the first person who put a ball in my hand. I can remember being just really young, probably like 4, going to the park like after daycare, her picking us up after work, and us just going to the park to pass time, and her shooting with me and my brother. When I was younger, I was like, oh my God, my mom can play. But now that I'm older, I'm like, Mom, I know you were just doing that out of love because no. So yeah, she probably was the first person to put a ball in my hand. And then probably when I got to college, I went to a junior college first, but my junior college coach was really good. I love the way he took the game and simplified it. No matter where we came from, we all came from different programs and we're all very good on our team before we came. But when we got to him, he like simplified the game and we played the way he needed us to play. And in return, I learned so much about myself and he really helped my game grow. And then probably since I've been in England, I would say Steve Veer has challenged me the most. I played half a season with Brixton and we weren't very good. Yeah, we weren't very good. We were good on paper, had all the tools, but just couldn't gel. But his preparation and his approach to every game, I haven't seen anything like it. Like, we were getting smacked, and he would still come in with a practice plan, with video, scout. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it's good. Sorry?
Who's the coach at the time at Brixton? Say.
Steve Veer.
Yeah. No Veer.
Yeah. And like him and I would just do like individual work. Like if I want to get up shots, he was always available and he just challenged me. He like took pride in finding something I couldn't do or I struggled to do. So for me, that was like really good. So yeah. And then I think pro wise, Kobe's my favorite player. And on the women's side, I grew up with the era of like, when the WNBA first came, it was like Cheryl Swoops, like the Houston Comets. So Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, Tina Thompson. Those were, everyone in high school had like the Cheryl Swoops shoes. So if you didn't have those, we were like, what are you doing? So yeah, that'd probably be it.
Okay. Let's go into Naomi.
I think probably my parents. I mean, part of the story earlier I didn't feel was quite on the same level as everyone else, but my dad had coached kind of when he was at university and had played a bit in his past. So when I started to play, he kind of started to push me a little bit when he realised I actually might have been all right at it. So my parents are a big part of it and are still heavily involved. Obviously, Betty and Vanessa, Hatters-wise, all the way through my development, really. The one that was kind of the standout for me is because I'd always played for Hatters. Going to Loughborough was quite a big thing for me. With Matt Harbour, obviously he was kind of coached over in Ipswich. And so he actually spent quite a lot of time with me, like as an individual. Like a lot of my basketball before would always been kind of team. and I'd gone to like university and still didn't know how to do a reverse layup. So like individual workouts and those kind of things, I think I kind of came along quite a bit, having more time to practice. Obviously at university, player wise, not really a celebrity, but when I'd first started playing in Sheffield, again, kind of the Sharks followed by the Arrows, Garnet Gale played for them, and he's the reason I wear number 13. So he was kind of the biggest one, and he's always been kind of in my ear the whole way through, although he's not actually been my head coach at any point. He's been assistant coach in recent years. But yeah, he's one who's love for the game, IQ for the game. Like, he was still killing leagues when he was like 50, just because he read the game and was so smart. So I think that was a big thing for me, like knowing that there's more to it than just the physical talent.
Yeah, he used to kill that Leeds team. I used to watch them guys suffer there. So
yeah.
Ella, who's your influence? Is it Mr.
I
Big?
mean, a little bit obvious for me, but definitely my whole family. So obviously, people that don't know, my dad's coached, I don't know how many years, but used to coach the GB women's team. My mum used to play on the GB women's team, and my brother's like got 100 caps for GB currently and still playing. So, and my brother's older than me, so I always had my brother to compete with, / look up to, and then always had my mum and dad like driving me to be better, do different things, play with older people, you know, all that stuff. So they're my biggest drivers within my career. And then after that, I'd probably say my college coaches were probably quite influential in me, because they were probably my main coaches that weren't my parents. I played at Haringey for a little bit with like Dan Bowmaker and Phil, who were my first coaches outside of my parents. But my first, like, I was only doing basketball there, what I'm doing right now. So like my second assistant coach at the time, his name is Jeff, and he's like that person that would do that extra film with you, like Tiana said, like would do those extra workouts with you, always available. Like you can come in whenever, like day or night, and he'd come in and do a workout with you, shoot with you, watch film with you, anything like. And he was probably one of the more influential coaches.
Okay, nice. And Rhiann Bailey.
People who influenced me the most, I would say, like coaching wise, pretty much like pretty much everyone, to be honest, who I came in contact with. My PE teachers, my Birmingham Force coach David Lyon, he had a big influence on me. Then Matt Harbour, I think in the 4 years I was at Loughborough, I came a long way, like not physically and mentally, to be honest, like developed lots of off-court skills. Jeff Jones now, but I think as a player, my biggest influence was Andrea Congreves. I remember like under 16, she came and gave a talk, and I was just like kind of blown away, and what she achieved and stuff. And then she was just really nice as well. So that was a bit of a shock. Yeah, so that's about it really. But no one I knew played basketball really, apart from my friends and my cousins. So like we would watch, is it like the And One mixtapes?
Oh, yeah.
We used to watch things like that. So that was like my first experience of basketball really. But yes, like my family didn't really play or anything like that. My dad swears to this day that he does, but he still tells me about having 30 seconds on the shot clock. So I know his information is well out of date. Yeah, so just everyone that I came in contact with really, because they all really knew a lot more about basketball than I did when I met them. So I just try and take a bit of goodness from everybody, and then improve really.
Okay. I remember the annual mixtapes. Coaches used to go mad if you came into.
Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.